I sincerely never thought I could do this. So, if you don't know who I am, my name's Hira, and I want to tell you a little bit about me doing this art stuff online and a little bit about MBTI as well. A couple years ago, I got interested in MBTI, and if you're not for certain what MBTI is, it's the Myers-Briggs testing of personality based on a lot of the science of Carl Jung. Now, MBTI, a lot of people, if you've heard of it, make stereotypes of how people act or, a tendency for what they'll do in life, or you'll see models for compatibility a lot of the time. But MBTI is a lot less about personality, and it is a lot more concerned with the preference for cognitive functions. Everyone has all 8 cognitive functions, and it will take me probably a whole solid minute to recollect what they all are, so I'm not going to say them right now. But I will tell you that for everyone, there are 4 cognitive functions at your top, and there are the other 4 cognitive functions at your bottom. The top 4 are the ones that you use all of the time. The other 4 at the bottom are your shadow parts. And these are the parts that tend to make things a bit muddy and hard in life. That's why it's called the shadow, and that's why there's a lot of work on shadow things and learning how to romance it and integrate it and all that jazz. I won't teach you about that today, but I will tell you that I am personally an INFP. That means I have introverted feeling, FI. I have extroverted intuition, NE. I have introverted sensing, SI. And I have extroverted thinking, TE. So the judging functions are the thinking and the feeling functions, and the perceiving functions are the intuitive and sensory functions are information gathering. That's why they're the perceiving functions. And the thinking and the feelings are decision making. So personally, I lead with FI. So I know it sounds weird. It is a judging function, but I end up with the P on the end, because the P at the end, or the J at the end, actually reflects the second letter, which is, for me, NE, extroverted intuition. And because it is intuition, it is perceiving. So you'll find a lot of INFPs doing art. There are a lot of actors who are INFPs as well. And it is a strange experience being an INFP, because I don't think that INFPs understand that not everyone in this world can feel as deeply or put words to feelings as easily as they can. It's like if you're an INFP, or probably ISFP as well. I'm not sure how you navigate it as a sensor, but for an INFP, you're probably the most in tune person with your feelings out of every other human being on the planet. I mean, INFPs are 4.4% of the population as it currently stands, and males are even more rare than females. So I really feel that INFPs are sensitive because of this, but it doesn't mean that they just cry. I feel that they don't understand, like even me, I'm learning recently this too, but I feel they get misunderstood because they don't understand that their ability to see what's unspoken or see other people's feelings, that compassion that they have, that consideration, is not default, it's rare, and most likely you will give it more than receive it. It doesn't mean that everybody's stuck in themselves. Sometimes people just can't access that. Like, it's not that they're, wanting to hide the truth from you or can't make up their mind or yada. It's just like really hard for a lot of people to access. And so we have a gift. And that gift is also attributed with SI. So I'll tell you a little bit how our main function, our decision-making function, plays a lot with our other functions in the stack. So with external intuition, now this is really funny to describe because it's intuitive, which means it's abstract, which means there are not a lot of words for it. But basically, the extroverted intuition is how we make connections. So, how would I put this? It's like our way of pattern recognition. So, when we make patterns and connections to things, we tend to see those things in the world outside of us. Like, for example, you start seeing the birds in the sky. It's getting cold outside, and you see that the birds are flying south. Okay, well, the birds are going to places that they normally don't go. It's also getting cold outside. They're going south. Oh, they must be migrating. Birds are flying south for the winter. You saw it in the outside world and you put it together. So NE is just always wanting to pick things up. It's always wanting to notice these things. But the NE always lends this to FI, I'm pretty sure. Yeah. I hope I'm not getting NE and TE mixed up. Maybe I am a little bit just because I am this way. But to me, I feel like TE is more associated with order. TE is ability to plan things. It's ability to organize. And this is our fourth function. And we're not very strong at that. And I will get to that in a minute, because I feel like this has a lot to do with success as an artist if you are an INFP. But SI, for us, tends to ground us, and it plays a lot with our FI. It is our way of helping us determine our value. It's our way of helping us determine our values, and help us evaluate, what stays and what goes. So NE goes picking all of this information out of the world like flowers. It gets compared to our past experiences, what we know, SI, and throws it to FI. So that is basically the final determination on what we value. We're pretty good at all of that. FI, SI are pretty close. NE, TE are close. We're introverted, so being an FI-SI is comfy for us. When we're very, very stressed, we tend to have FI-SI loop in a negative way. In order for us to get out of FI-SI loop, we have to go to NE-TE loop. So if we're feeling too stuck in our heads, we have to get out to break that loop, because we fall on FI-SI when it's comfortable, even to our detriment. To be extroverted, meaning NE-TE, is more expensive for us than defaulting to our feelings. In a way, we don't realize that feeling all the time is a comfort, even if it is not always pleasant, because it's the easiest to fall into. They say that the first function is the one you don't even realize you're doing. It's autopilot. It's your default. So TE, when it comes to art, is overpowered, and we don't lock into it a lot because it's our fourth function. You don't honestly lock into your fourth function probably until your mid to late 20s. I think they could say you can develop it as early as like your early 20s. But even then, if you were to unlock it in yourself, I don't think that you would master it or start to really touch or develop on it over the course of the next 5+ years, probably. I'm just learning how to get into it myself, and it is a lot of work and it is hard. So INFPs fall behind in this world because we don't have what's valued in society a lot. Like, TI is celebrated a lot, which is internal thinking. And TE is highly valued in our society as well, but it is bottom of the rung on our top stack. And everything else that's really good for like corporate stuff, you know, FE, external feeling, reading the room kind of other people. And yeah, just that TI brain, that almost like mechanical way of thinking on the inside is not good for us. But you can do this. And I'm finding that if you want to grow as an artist, I mean, not just like put pretty stuff out there, like you really want to run with yourself and what you can do and like go places with a vision, you need to lock into this TE. It sucks to say, but when you do practice it, it will sharpen like the fastest blade ever. I hope it does for you because it feels like it did for me. Since TE is not very high on our stack, even though it's in our top stack, it takes a lot of practice. It takes a lot of active practice. And even if we were to do it, I do not think that we would be as good at it as other types. But in the art industry, we do have an advantage that we're pretty good at making connections. And because we have that FI, we have the capability to be very relatable. So in the art industry, you know, I feel it's not as advantageous to just sell commissions if you have a long-term goal in a way. Like you can make commissions and make money now. Like you can be so talented. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about like more like a long-term gain kind of game, because to build yourself into like more than a person or a brand does take time. I've made another video about this before, getting yourself into the art industry and kind of how to navigate that a little bit more. But here I'll kind of just be a little vulnerable with you about the fact that I never thought I could do art until I admitted that I'm so weak in TE. I think I have a bit of an advantage in terms of organization because my parents valued this, but in terms of like physical, like labor, like you need to do chores, like you have to keep your room clean. And I was bad at it growing up, but I understood their methods. And as I came to live on my own, or I had to, you know, start making my own appointments or all that fun stuff, I had a good idea of what that might look like. But then I had to translate it to myself and work on my confidence to really not only recognize it, but integrate it and translate it in ways that I wanted those things to work for me. I do have a scheduler. It has helped me a lot with looking at what's ahead, and having a scheduler has helped me so much with planning my goals. Because when you're wanting to do like art full time, you want to get things done and it feels like you're going at a snail's pace. But I personally believe that greatness comes at a snail's pace. You have to, you know, allocate time for real life, and you have to do so many other things. Like what if you're someone who's not just doing commissions, or what if you are doing commissions, you know, having that in front of your face, or just having the easy, simple ability to like shift that schedule is so good. It feels way better than being overwhelmed to thinking like you wake up that day and you're thinking, okay, well, I have to do this, 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 and this. And it's like, oh my gosh, where do I start? When do I stop? Did I even get anything done today? But if you have like a schedule in front of you, you can make a goal for that week. Okay, well, let's say I'm visiting my family on Friday, or on Tuesday, I have an exam. So you block out X amount of time on those days, or no time on those days. And so on the other days, you say, I'm open at this time. And then based on the time that you have, you can put in the things that you want to get accomplished reasonably for that week. And so that's helped me a lot, because I never thought I could do this. In fact, I never planned on making content. I never planned on being anyone. I shifted away from art a lot, actually, because my father, he worked in the art industry for nearly 3 decades, and I was afraid of living in his shadow, and I didn't want to do what he wanted to do. And as I've said before, I didn't even have the confidence to put hashtags on my stuff on Instagram. I thought, I can't get up this rung. Not only is my art not as good as everybody else's, but where do I even begin? What do I even do? What do you mean post 2 or 3 times a week? Who has that kind of time? Like, wait, what do you want from me, kind of thing? But it's just you can do it. And I think that really working on this extroverted intuition part, yes, extroverted intuition helps a lot, because you do start understanding patterns the longer you're in something, aka the longer you're on social media. But 2, extroverted thinking and knowing what tools that uses lends itself assistance in areas where I'm weak. And so I am plenty creative and imaginative, I think, but I was lacking in these parts of my life. But I don't really think it has to deter you, because I think what you really need to do is let yourself float in the world and give yourself grace and time to figure it out. Most people think that if their things don't get likes for months, it's not good. That's not true. It just means that there are not enough eyes on it yet to give you any kind of real percentage. And a lot of people who do just hop on really quick and blow up, most likely is because of association. Most likely that person already had connections and friends in that area. I'll guarantee it. I guess what I'm trying to say in this whole video is not only explain a little bit of MBTI, but I want to reach out to the INFPs out there who are aware that they're INFPs, because it can be hard creating all of the time. I think depression creeps in pretty quickly. I think that, not getting a positive feedback loop is pretty defeating. I think that it's easy for you to think that there's something wrong with what you're doing, or that people don't like what you have to offer, and that's really not true. It couldn't be farther from the truth. In a way, you have to give people a chance if you want people to give you a chance. You will feel like every day you can't do this. And if you're an INFP, I really hope that you don't get the same feeling I do, where you feel like every day you're not doing enough, or you'll never get there. Trust me, things get the hardest the closer you are to succeeding or breaking a barrier. It comes with a lot of things falling through, in terms of time. I don't have as much time for my friends or family, but that's all right. I keep pausing this video because I'm thinking of all the things that, come with really getting ahead in this industry as an INFP, not as an extrovert, someone who seems like they might have a easier time at this. I really am sitting here putting my palms in my face, because it does get difficult sometimes, not only the lack of feeling like you're good enough or what you can produce is good enough. It just honestly, if you're having those thoughts, please just throw them away. Like, I'm not saying that they're not valid, like your feelings don't make sense, like who wouldn't feel like that in this situation? I understand. Especially if you want to get somewhere with what you're doing, if you want to send a message, which if you're an INFP, I really encourage you to send a message with your art, because you are the kind of person to do that. You see things that people do not see. And your talent is to convey those things with words and images that where words fall short. And a lot of people don't have that vision or those words. But anyway, if you're going to have emotion, pour it into what you're doing, because then it will matter. Not that it doesn't matter, but it will count. It'll matter in a way where people see you and you're benefiting from it and everyone's benefiting from it. Don't waste those feelings of self-doubt and cutting yourself down. It's really not even worth it. It doesn't serve you. And it's almost like I saw somebody talk about it like a weed garden. Like, as soon as you feel it, just pull it. Just pull it when you see it budding. Don't let it exist, because your feelings will be more productive in your work, and you do have to lead with your extroversion, your extroverted functions to get this done. And so I'm here with you, fellow INFP. If you're like me, I'm here and I believe in you. And you can do it, because I never thought I could do this. I never thought I would do this. In fact, I didn't know if I ever wanted to show people my art to anything in the world, but I feel like the universe, life is just nudging me in a way, just like no matter what I do, like putting me in positions, you know, things fall through with like one job or one circumstance or another. It just feels like no matter how much I try to run from this, what I feel is destiny, it just won't let me give up. And I feel that, you know, like at this point in my life for me, that if I don't fall into this, I will perish. Like, the universe is giving me every single reason to do this. And if you're watching this video and you want to do this, please take it as a sign. Though it's not easy, and though it won't happen overnight, and though your ideas may shift halfway through, it doesn't matter. Keep trying. Because if you're made to do this, if you're made for this, you know it in your heart, and you will flourish the minute you fall into it. The minute. You won't reap great rewards the minute you start doing it, but you'll feel in sync. You'll feel the synergy with life around you, and everything will start falling into place in weird ways that you feel like aren't even fair. It'll start feeling so like life hacky and coincidentally weird, but fall into it, love it, embrace it, because I know you're made for more. I cannot be the only one. Like, I cannot believe, like, on this planet I'm not the only one who will have such a glorious like journey. As long as you have the guts, you know. So, no matter who you are, INFP or not, go for it.